Pastor Chris is being given a huge donation for his church by one music artist from Nigeria by the name of Rema. Apparently, Rema claimed to be a child that grew up in the Christ Embassy structure, basically. Now, I have a lot of questions concerning Rema's beliefs and faith and display of it, and how he interprets things that the world has its own interpretation, and how he wants us to feel dumb. He wants us to feel dumb or something like that along those lines. I don't understand how he thinks we interpret what we see compared to thinking. The donation, yes. Every single person who is a member of a church has a duty to their church, right? And so you might get to a church, the church doesn't have a thing. A lot of church is the last thing to be funded well, and not charlatan churches. Charlatan churches have a lot of money, I bet you that. But upright churches, pretty much little of it. And so you'll find that in certain churches, people have to even pledge a little bit more than what they normally would, because people that are employed in that church are very few. And so churches tend to have a little bit more help in that space. Now, why do I say with Rema particularly and his donation to Christ Embassy, it still leaves me hanging? Rema just recently got a tattoo. I think it's a couple of weeks ago. He got this tattoo, and you can see right there, this is Rema, and you can see the tattoo is of the Virgin Mary, the version that the Catholic Church keeps pushing out there. And also, secondly, Rema, in one of his famous pictures, you can see him, that's him there. You can see he does show this particular tattoo that he made of a cross. But then if you look on his shoulders, on each side of his shoulder, he has one who is an enlightened person over his head, and one who is thinking. This is very famous with Freemasonry and stuff like that. This idea of light and darkness, and enlightened, unenlightened. And I'm not saying that's what he is that's what he put those tattoos there for. But it's such a classic thing for him to have it on each side of the hand. It just says a lot. And I think the thing that I personally don't like about people like Rema is that they say things and then we think we are stupid. So we're talking about the donation, but we're not talking about the donation. We're coming from the hands from which it came from. It's the Reality Show. We do daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, be sure to check out some other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm going to see you over there. The church has a responsibility to keeping people accountable, okay? We can't just have people just doing anyhow. Rema, someone might say, no, he's still young, he's a bit ignorant. You can't have things that say something and then expect us to somehow interpret it in a magical way, like we don't see what you're saying over here. Okay, so first off, put it up here. There it is. He has donated about 100 and something million naira to his church. He did say in there that first he wants to donate, or he has to pledge about 40 million to the infrastructure of the church. You will know that the Christ Embassy headquarters did burn, so I don't know if that goes there or to a different branch. But then if you go further down, it says that he wants to donate about 20 million naira to the Rhapsody of Realities. That's that little booklet that they publish, written by Pastor Chris and so forth. And then it goes to about 25 million into infrastructure for teen church, and also wanted to pledge 20 million to widows in the church and so forth. Right. And so that's all great and stuff, right? That's all good. But Rema, what he is doing in the world, okay? Not that, okay, we don't want people to be musicians or I think when you're doing what you're doing, right? Do it and do it well. Do it with pure intentions, and don't cause issues, if I may put it in that manner. Don't bring up things that we can't even, we are not sure. Should we trust this person or should we trust this person? So yes, great and stuff. He's donating to his church. You know, charlatans churches tend to have a lot of money. All right. Now, why do I say that particularly? Now, you'll remember in the earlier part, I did mention this whole thing of Freemasonry with two equivalents and stuff like that, or two opposites. You might actually put it like that. I'll give you an example with a picture from a Masonic lodge. Like, first of all, put it up here. So you see this picture here. When I said this person here who's drawn on the one side, he has enlightenment on one side, he is not enlightened. He's enlightened on the side when on the left side, and he is not enlightened on the right side. And so, hey, you know, Abu Rema, they just like things. Abu Rema, they just like things. Because if you go back into thinking, because someone might think, oh, Ricky, you're just jealous. No, put it up here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. In Freemasonry, this principle of light and darkness, it's a very huge it's a very huge deal. Okay, you'll see them do on this side what you do on this other side. Checkered floors, hand on the one side, wand on the one side, pillar on the one side, and pillar on the other side. And you know, this entire ranking or rise towards the top and rankings. So one side is darkness, one side is light. The idea that one manages the light and the darkness both. So that's why I'm saying that particular tattoo there that he has, it just raises question. It's just one side, you know, it just raises question. And this whole thing here, if he's getting the Virgin Mary, that the world and the Catholic Church particularly, so what exactly does he believe? Is he saying something about the Catholic Church doctrine that he believes? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust the man. Then put it up here. That entire crown of thingy that he does, it's broken at one particular spot right there. Oh, does that communicate something? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you right now. Okay, so already you've brought me doubt that you understand what you believe or what you claim to believe. Then again, another thing that Rema has, that personally I think as the church we do well to question the young man, so that the young man is not deceived by his own lust and go into a funny direction, is that chain that he wears. If you check that chain, it has roses around it, roses, and we know that there is a Freemasonic organization called the Rosicrucians. And so that's a lot. I did make a video not long ago speaking about this idea of roses. With thinking they went on the Met Gala and they had roses on their chest and what, they were holding it and stuff. And so he has that on his chain. But not only that, he then has a chain with what looks like a church upside down on fire. Now he came out, he made his own interpretation. He told us, no, it's not a church. Let's go back there. If you actually look at that chain in its details, you'll see this is a fire. There is a cross, right? And the roof is actually patched up. And so this house has a cross. I mean, like, we don't put crosses on houses. Maybe you might do for decoration thingy, but that's not how, within the world, that's not how it's recognized. The moment you put a cross on a house, we think church. So I don't know if Rema thinks we are stupid to say, oh yeah, I built it's a house, it has a cross, it's not a church. That's not how things are interpreted in the world. Now you make up your own interpretation. Stop playing games, man. Stop playing games. What are you doing, bruv? And so this chain of his has the roses around it and stuff, clouds on the side, but the church is on fire and thinking. Now, why am I highlighting this? Is because that's how worldly people in the music industry would speak of their faith. When they are tearing down their faith, this is how they will depict themselves, with religion being the center, which is upside down or something that's twisted out, you know. And then he goes and he adds on top of that, he adds flames on thingy and stuff like that. Okay, no, it's fine. We're not going to make a big deal out of that part. Then he gets a Chanel with a rosary Chanel. He gets a rosary Chanel. Rosary is for Catholics. It's not a Christian symbol. It's a Catholic symbol. And so, wagwan over there. But again, he already has a tattoo. Why do you think he's not going to get thingy? Okay, maybe that was just a mistake. But what about this time? What about when Rema himself goes out and he has this photo shoot in a t-shirt with a one-eyed symbol? Is that also a mistake? You got too many mistakes to be a mistake. You're doing things that make us not to trust you. And so when we have an understanding of these things, it's good to correct this man and say, dude, we see it. What is this? Because he made an interview where he was saying, no, the church is a symbol of him because he has, because he has that cross on his throat. So the house is a representation of him. So basically, what are you saying when you put it upside down? Or he says, no, that's a sign of the future. So you are upside down? We're not dumb, Now, dumb people will need you to explain everything. The rest of us can pretty much read and say 1 + 1 + 1. Wait a minute, man. What's this? Right? We're not kids. We can see it. And so for me, I'd say, yes, he's doing things for his church. And funny enough, his music was a bit gospel, was like hip-hop gospel stuff. The moment he turned worldly, he started singing about all these other things, sensual things. So we got to come back there and say, hey, is this what we are doing towards biblical understanding? Is this what a Christian should mimic? So for me, no. Rema is not a good example. He's a young man. He seems to be getting a lot of attention. And also, he has this weird vibe of things that he keeps doing that personally, I would rather distance myself. The t-shirt that you were wearing, the one eye there, that a mistake? The house being upside down. Okay, so if it's a representation of you, which is on fire, he even says that it's almost like a ritual form. And I'm like, oh, okay. What are you saying about yourself? What are you saying about yourself when you say the house is you and the house is on fire? What are you saying? You communicating that out there? So personally, no, that's not an example. That's not an example of a Christian. No, we don't emulate that. Nope. Now someone says, you are jealous. You think I'm jealous of someone who's flashing symbolic Masonic signs? You think that's what I'm you must be joking. There are people that are successful, maybe to the level of thinking that I do know, that I'm not going to be aspiring to someone who's flashing Masonic sign. I know people that are successful that are not flashing Masonic signs. Why will I not be encouraged and motivated by people like that and be motivated by someone who's flashing things that are weird? And that particular symbol right there on his shoulders, I don't know about that, man. I do not know about that. That's not a sign of someone that I would want to be listening to. So the t-shirt, upside down thingy, the roses, the Masonic signs on his thingy, the rosary Chanel thing. Okay, if I'm a Christian, I'm not promoting none of that. We're not doing none of that. Okay? The Mary thingy tattoo, these are just too many signs that cite Jesuit. Basically, that's all the Rema thing says. It says Jesuit. A Jesuit, the Jesuits, they would be a bit religious here and a bit weird Freemasonic over there. So personally, distance. Until you get your story straight. I see a lot of people talking about, you should not be donating to Pastor Chris. It's his church. Okay? Okay, it's his church. If it's his church and that's where he grew, unfortunately, Christ Embassy is a little bit too corrupt with money. yeah, this is a little bit too much there. They're very carnal, very compromised. And so there's that doctrine to deal with at Christ Embassy. But at his thingy, it just does not send me Christian vibes that I would want to emulate. Period. Just my thought. Y'all tell me what you think down in the comment section. So Charity Show, daily Christian commentary videos. Other episodes down to they'll be down in the comments, and I'm gonna check you out over there.